Hi, are you ready to go and get your charm packs off of your shelves and into some beautiful quilts? I'm Cheryl Brickey of Meadow Mist Designs, and my new book, Just One Charm Pack Quilts, will hopefully help you do just that. What the book is it's 18 different patterns, each requiring one charm pack, an additional fabric called Fabric A in the patterns, and a background fabric. It's the hamburger helper of charm packs, which will take one charm pack and expand it enough for an entire quilt. And go and use up some of your favorite charm packs and some additional fabric and get them into some quilts. So today I'm going to be talking about how to pick that Fabric A and that background fabric. So most charm packs are great that they have mostly more mid-tone prints to them. So they're not too dark or too light. And so picking some additional yardages, or you could even make it scrappy, a background or a Fabric A, is just a matter of picking fabrics that have good contrast against your charm pack. So if your charm pack was, say, like this, that has mostly more of these mid-tones, but it does have a lot of these blues, I probably wouldn't put it against a dark blue because some of these prints would be lost. So I'm going to be showing you some examples. There are two cases. One where all of the prints are only next to the background fabric and the Fabric A is next to the background fabric, but it's separate from the charm packs. And in this case, this would be one where the charm pack prints are all surrounded by the background, and the Fabric A, that additional fabric, never touches the charm packs. And then in the second case, the charm pack prints do sit next to the Fabric A and the background. And I will be talking through a whole bunch of ideas and showing some of the quilts from the book to go and give you ideas on how to pick out those fabrics. So for the first of the two cases, where the Fabric A is not next to any of the charm pack prints, we're going to look at Cat's Eye. This version of Cat's Eye was made by Valerie. So as you can see, here are the charm pack prints made into half square triangles, and they're always bordered by the background, this white cream colored fabric. And then this is the Fabric A, this darker khaki. Because this darker khaki never touches any of these prints, it does give you a little bit more freedom on what to pick from that. So for instance, instead of the dark khaki, you could go and use this purple. This purple is actually one of the charm pack prints. And so you could, if you have some yardage of your favorite print from your charm pack, you could use that as the Fabric A in this quilt. Another option would be to kind of go with this mustard color. This is the same, almost the same color as that solid, and pulls it together, and it gives the quilt a different look. Or you could even go dark. You could go to almost a black and play that off. So you can use different solids or different prints, and you have the freedom because they're not touching those charm packs. You don't have to worry about the contrast between those two. Now for the background here, this is a cream. It is a solid, but you could imagine you could also go and use, this is kind of a little textured linen, and that would be one option. Another option, if you wanted to go and use a dark background instead of a light, you can see because the dark background is next to these charm packs, this is a dark brown next to a dark black, that might not be the best. So if I was to go with a dark background here, I'd want to make sure that this had enough contrast. So I would probably leave out some of these darker squares and replace them with some of the lighter squares, or pull from my stash. Another quilt that has the same orientation is Circus Stars. So in this, all of the charm packs, and this is a cape that I made and Carol Alperin quilted, the stars are made from the prints, and then this stripe is the Fabric A and the white is the back. So because, once again, this fabric A does not touch the charm packs, you really have some latitude of what you would like to go and pick for that. And here is a corresponding, here's another version of Circus Stars. And this was made by Michelle with some Ruby Star charm packs. So here are the prints, and this is a lower contrast, this pink to the white, but it still works because you don't have to worry about the pink contrasting against the charm packs. For the second situation, the charm pack prints are next to both the fabric A and the background fabric. And sometimes the fabric A is actually also next to the background fabric, so there needs to be contrast between all three of those. This quilt is called Windows. I made it with a Layla Boutique charm pack, and it was quilted by Cheryl Brickey. And here are the prints. The prints are next to the fabric A, which is the white in this case, and the prints are also next to the gray, which is the background. And then the fabric A and the background are also next to each other. So I had to select the prints, the corresponding fabric A and background, to go along with those prints that have good contrast. One other example. This is called Blossom Chain. And these prints were the Sun Print charm pack and by Allison Glass. And so they're bright colors. The fabric A is this white print and the background is a black. So the prints have good contrast with the fabric A and the background, and the fabric A and the background also have good contrast with each other. Now, this is easier than you would think it was because most charm packs are kind of middle of the road tone-wise. So they're kind of the mid-range. So if you are having to pick out a fabric A and a background, one of the easiest things to do is to pick a really light and a really dark. So you have a really light, you have your middle tones with your charm packs, and a really dark. And I'll give you an example. So if these were my charm packs, these are some Amy Butler prints. They're called kind of middle of the road. If I wanted to put a fabric A with them, I could put this black print. So you can see there's good contrast between all of these prints and the black. And then for the background, I could use a white solid or this print. So you can see that these are kind of the mid-range, and they have good contrast against the black, and they have good contrast against the white. So this would be successful if those situations were some of the quilts where the fabric A is next to the charm packs. So hopefully now that you've seen some additional quilts from the book, seen how I would choose the fabric A and the background fabric in those two different situations where the prints are either next to only the background or they're next to both the fabric A and the background. I hope that's given you some ideas, and looking through your stash, you already have a bunch of fabrics that might work with some charm packs that you have. And just remember, your fabric A and your background fabric don't need to be yardages. They can be scrappy also. So if you wanted to have a lighter background but you didn't have a yard or two of one particular print or solid, you can always cut multiples of some low volume, some white on white prints, and that would work perfectly too.